Hello, my friend. I'm glad you're here again. Take a slow breath in, hold it for a moment, and let it go. Let your shoulders soften, let your thoughts settle wherever they need to. This is your space, a small pause between all the noise, a quiet return. Today's question is this: why does the thought of death suddenly make us see life with a clarity we ignore while we're busy living it? It's strange, isn't it? We move through our days half asleep, rushing from task to task, worrying about things that won't matter in a year, forgetting to breathe deeply, forgetting to look at the people we love, forgetting to look at ourselves. Life becomes habit, routine, a list of responsibilities. And then, sometimes suddenly, sometimes softly, something reminds us that everything ends. A funeral, a diagnosis, a late-night thought, a story about someone gone too soon, a moment where time feels fragile. And in that moment, the world sharpens into focus. The things that felt urgent fall away. The things that felt small become enormous. The things that felt permanent reveal their impermanence. Death, even the idea of it, wakes us. But why? Let's walk into this gently, my friend. Most of the things we stress about, the opinions of others, the deadlines, the small dramas, the fear of embarrassment, the comparisons, the future that hasn't happened yet, lose their power when viewed through the lens of mortality. There was a man named Kirill who worried constantly about work, finances, plans, expectations. Every day was a race against himself. One afternoon, a close co-worker of his passed away unexpectedly, a man his age, someone he shared jokes with at lunchtime. At the funeral, surrounded by silence, Kirill realized something painful. All the things I thought mattered didn't. And all the things I ignored were the ones that held meaning. He wasn't wiser than he was a week before. He was just awake. Death removed the layers of distraction. Sometimes the truth isn't complicated, it's just buried under noise. When you're young, or simply comfortable, time feels endless. You feel like you have years to fix things, years to say things, years to become the version of yourself you've been postponing. And then something happens that shakes you. Someone dies, or someone gets sick, or you narrowly escape something, or you see a moment that reminds you how fragile this all is. And suddenly time becomes concrete, finite, precious. A woman once said, "I didn't realize how many laters I was wasting until I ran out of one." Death teaches us what clocks cannot. That time isn't something you spend tomorrow. It's something you live today. In daily routines, we distract ourselves with busyness, ambition, comfort, fear, entertainment, noise. But death cuts through all of it and asks simple, raw questions. Are you living the life you want? Are you loving the people who matter? Are you speaking your truth? Are you wasting time on what drains you? Are you being the person you want to become? One man told me that after losing his grandfather, he walked home and sat at the kitchen table, staring at his hands. He said, "I didn't know what I wanted from life, but I knew exactly what I didn't want anymore." Sometimes death doesn't give us answers. It gives us clarity by removing the lies we tell ourselves. We take things for granted. We assume the people we love will always be around. We assume the places we cherish will stay the same. We assume we'll always have time to apologize, time to start over, time to slow down, time to love more honestly. But the thought of death shows us the truth. Nothing stays, not people, not seasons, not versions of ourselves, not the moments we rush past. A father once realized during a funeral that his daughter would never be 5 again, never stand in the doorway asking him to play. He wasn't grieving death, he was grieving time. Death teaches us this quietly painful lesson. Life is not a straight line. It's a collection of moments that vanish as soon as they appear, and the only way to hold them is to actually live them. When you're reminded of death, love becomes clearer. Who matters, who you miss, who you should call, who you owe an apology to, who you've been taking for granted, who you can't afford to lose without knowing they knew you cared. A woman once shared that after attending her aunt's funeral, she went home and hugged her teenage son for the longest time. She said, "I realized I hadn't hugged him in months." Not like that, not with presence. Death makes us see the people in our lives more clearly because it shows us how quickly they can disappear from it. Sometimes the idea of death doesn't scare us because of dying. It scares us because of the parts of our life we haven't lived, the dreams we postponed, the passions we buried, the risks we were afraid to take, the words we kept inside, the boundaries we didn't set, the life we thought we had more time to become. A man once confessed, "I wasn't afraid of dying. I was afraid of dying as the person I never meant to be." Death doesn't scare us. Dying with regret does. When death comes close, even in thought, it strips away ego, pride, comparison, and all the small insecurities we cling to. Suddenly, what matters becomes simple: love, presence, connection, truth, peace, meaning. Everything else reveals itself as decoration. So what does death really teach us? Not to be afraid, not to be gloomy, not to rush. Death teaches us how to live. It teaches us to tell people we love them while we can, to hug longer, to forgive sooner, to slow down enough to actually feel the moment, to choose what matters over what impresses, to stop betraying our hearts just to be accepted, and to start living the life we've been waiting for. There was a man who lived his life always looking ahead, working, planning, preparing, saving his joy for later. He said he would travel when he retired, rest when he had more money, spend time with his family when things settled down, slow down once he earned it. But one day, after losing a close friend, he came home, stood in the doorway, and looked at his living room with new eyes. Nothing had changed, yet everything had. He saw his daughter on the couch, scrolling through her phone, already growing older. He saw his wife cooking in the kitchen, shoulders tired but hopeful. He saw the quiet life he had been postponing. He sat down and cried, not out of sadness, but out of recognition. He realized he had been planning to live instead of living, that his life wasn't waiting for him. It was happening without him. The next morning, he cooked breakfast. He took a day off work. He hugged his wife from behind. He asked his daughter about her day. Small things, ordinary things, but for the first time, he felt alive inside them. Later he said, "Death didn't teach me to fear dying. It taught me to stop fearing living." My friend, if the thought of death has ever brought sudden clarity into your life, don't push that clarity away. Let it guide you. Let it remind you to live slowly, to love openly, to choose truth, to stop postponing the moments that matter. You don't have to wait for loss to start seeing life clearly. You can begin today, in this breath, in this moment, in this quiet reflection. Thank you for being here, for giving yourself this moment to reflect. Stay gentle, stay curious, and stay kind. And if this question spoke to you, continue your journey with us on Yarven's Questions. More stories, more reflections, and more quiet truths are waiting for you. Take care, my friend. Until next time.